Hi fellow gardeners, welcome to Garden with Jenny. I'm Jenny. So it's been a while since I've made a video and that sucks for you guys, I'm sorry, but big news, I got engaged. Happy. And that was in January, so I've been kind of busy with wedding planning, moving, school, just so much to do. So I apologize that there hasn't been a video in a long time. Again, I apologize for the traffic, but you guys should know by now that that's what happens when I film at my house. So I'm just gonna give you kind of a look at what's going on in the garden. I have not done anything in my own garden at all this year just because of how busy I've been. Plus I was making a blanket for my fiance and some household item things that I've been crocheting, like pot holders and stuff, a rug, for when I get out there, just to make it a little homier than all boy stuff. So let's get into the gardening because I'm sure you don't want to know anything about that. So hang on one second, I'll turn the camera around. Okay, so first on the list, I'll show you the bleeding heart, which was like one of the first things that came out this year, and it's got some buds on it, some flower buds that's pretty exciting for me to see because it was the first sign of spring. And then we've got sucker growth and buds opening on the burning bush that needs to be trimmed and stuff. I have weeds in the yard because, as I said, I have not been out here to work in my own garden this year, well, in my parents' garden. So, yeah, it's been a little difficult. I did one day with my dad, I should say. It's not that I haven't been out here at all. It's my dad and I did one day to trim some bushes that I'll show you in a minute. So our iris has peaked up. We've got lilies behind it. I can't really tell where I'm pointing to, but there's lilies in there somewhere. You know, the dwarf Alberta spruce. So I've got one on the other side over there. Lamb's ears coming back. Allium. Those flowered really nice last year, so I don't know if I'll get flowers from it this year. I don't see a spike. It actually looks like it's wilting or dying out already. That's disappointing. So that might not flower. The hydrangea needs to be pruned to get rid of all the old flower heads. I wait until I know that these buds are present because if I go and I prune it too soon, I might prune off, the buds for this year. So I usually wait. More lilies. This is a weed. The lamb's ear is popping up in random spots, which is fine. I don't mind that. Our recycle bin is out here because they didn't take it the other day. Sedum's up. It would be great if I didn't block the light. I think this little sprout here is going to be the delphinium that I planted, and I think that little green there is an aster. More lilies. The grasses that I planted was it last year? I think it was last year I planted those. Boy, I don't remember, guys. I should take better notes of what I do each year. So there's the other dwarf Alberta spruce. Hostas are coming up right in there-ish. I really can't see very well because it's so bright out here. Here's one of the red twig dogwoods that I cut down. It was as high as the house, so I cut it down almost in half. The thing is just crazy. Such a bad planting spot, but whatever. That was a mistake that my dad and I did. I shouldn't have listened to him. When I know better, and I listen to him anyways because, I think he's got seniority because he's been on this earth a lot longer, but I should have listened to my gut. Anyways, hyacinths. I got purple, some whites, and pinks that I'll show you in a minute that are really nice, starting to pop out. Weeds, frickin' weeds. You remember I did all this weeding last year? And just insane with the weeds. Okay, so butterfly bush I cut down 2 weeks ago. she's flushing out. I'm surprised. That's kind of early for that, especially because it's not even May yet. They usually don't flush out until May. Probably should have left it in case we get some really cold temperatures, but whatever. White hyacinth, pink hyacinth, somewhere in there. I can't tell where I'm pointing. There's a hosta back in there, another red twig. These things are huge. And as you can see, the Creeping Charlie has taken over, although it actually has a cute little flower on it that I've never actually like noticed before. There's a cute little pink flower in there. That's actually kind of pretty. I actually like that. But it's just so extensive. Like, this'll take over the freaking flower bed. It almost looks like a wild geranium. Oh, I smell the hyacinths. They're so beautiful. I have more in the other bed to show you, too. So, surprisingly, the elephant ear is back again. This, we don't remove this. You're supposed to remove this in Buffalo because Buffalo's temperatures get really chilly during the wintertime. My nails are not all the same color. I apologize. But the temperatures get really cold in Buffalo during the wintertime sometimes. Not quite as cold as where I'm going, but so like you're supposed to pull these bulbs, tubers. I don't remember the difference between a bulb and a tuber anymore. But you're supposed to heave them from the ground and store them in the house in a dry location. And then replant them the following year. But my dad and I, we're kind of lazy, I guess. Is what you can call it. Plus, it's been coming back every year, so why pull it out when it's been doing its own thing? This ground ivy is so bad. There's just so much of it. This was not here last spring. When I don't remember having all of this here last spring. So it's just taking over. And I'm not going to round up it because it'll just kill my other plants, and I'm not taking that chance. Anyways, so in this little area here, I have a mixture of daylilies and snow on the mountain. My dad calls that ground cover over there. This was the weedy section last year. Apparently those were those really tall, like, sunflower things. There's some brown sticks over there. That's what those were. This burning bush has died. It died last year. I have not been able to get it out because I've been just busy. So my dad might have to have somebody come do that. The Weigelia is starting to push out buds. I don't know if it's going to focus or not for you. But it has some buds, and of course it's surrounded by weeds again and again and again. Super annoying. This is just like a weeded area. It's so frustrating. I did so much work in this stupid thing last year for it all to come back. It's so discouraging. I'm almost like tempted to just nuke it all before I leave and then say, Dad, plant whatever you want. But in here I know there's a creeping juniper somewhere. Somewhere, like in this area, there's a creeping juniper. Somewhere in here, which they're not even out, probably because the weeds have they probably got choked out by the weeds. But there was pink cushion flower in here. And, Gaillardia. Ooh, a bee on one of those little dandelions. That's why I also don't like to remove the dandelions. My fiance, he's a turf guy, and he likes to get rid of dandelions. But dandelions are one of the earliest flowers for bees to take food back to the hive for the offspring and stuff. So, like, I don't like to remove dandelions. So him and I are gonna feud it out over that. And besides, like, my crocus, and my crocus have already been here and they're gone. Just because they're early. So that's that bed. I apologize for it looking so crummy. The Creeping Charlie's over here too, I see. It's just everywhere. So frustrating. So, hosta, tall garden, well, is it? Yeah, tall garden phlox. because it's not the creepy phlox, that's garden phlox. Hosta, beautiful peony. My mom loves that thing. These spruce? I think they're spruce, yeah. Their needles aren't long enough to be a pine. I don't think. I've got some roses in here. Beep, beep, beep. That I dug one out for my fiance's dad last year. I did it during the really hot portion of the season, which was a super bad idea, but that's what I did because it was the only time I had. So it completely defoliated. I had to cut it back almost to that dead rose stump there. That needs to get pitched because it's dead. And I nursed it back to health in a pot, and then I gave it to him last fall to plant. And I hope it really lived for him because these were ones that I had propagated myself. My dad and I propagated these ones. But these, we trimmed these in the fall. So this has all new fresh growth right in here. There's growth in here. There's growth everywhere on this one. If I was gonna give more of these away, it would be to trim it now. And this is the Baptisia. So you can see the new sticks are starting to come out. I pulled all these sticks out a few weeks ago, the dead stuff from last year. And it's all sending out new growth now, which is nice. Because that's a beautiful plant. I mean, that takes up pretty much this whole area. And it gets real high. It gets like 4 foot, which is super nice. This bed is the other weed bed that my friend Becca gave me some daylilies that I could put in the other bed. They're also in this bed. As you can tell, it's spring because the motorcycles are out. But you know, these were daylilies we had, and I've got some over there that Becca gave us. And here's our apple tree, our crab apple. Those are old apples on it from last year. I leave them on because there's no need for me to pull them out. So you can see the weeds are just coming back. I had this all cleaned out too at one point last season, and I never got to edge this bed, but I did have it all cleaned out and it looked pretty nice. And now the weeds are freaking back. Super annoying. Let's see here. One more bed in the front that I want to show you that I'm excited about. Our cherry tree, our weeping cherry, is in bloom. I don't know if it's going to focus or not. I can't tell if it's focused. But this did not flower last year. I do not know if part of it's because of the small amount of rain that we had, but it's also because I think I didn't trim it. But now she's just really nice, full of blooms. The girth on the trunk's really nice. Cute little flowers. Those right there are my crocus, different kinds of crocus. I've got hyacinth over there, and I don't know what those little purple flowers are anymore. I don't remember. Okay, sorry about that. My dad came out and talked to me, so I paused the video. So, pincushion flower is what that should be. There should be some gaillardia that's going to come up somewhere in this area. There's another pincushion flower. Gaillardia should be somewhere in this area here. Tulips over there. Over there I've got echinacea that haven't sprouted yet. Hopefully they make it. Because if not, I'm going to be disappointed because those are like super awesome orange ones that I got from Walmart for cheap. In this area there was a bellflower which made it all summer long. Hopefully it'll sprout soon, but these I think are just weeds, so I don't know. This stumpy thing right in here, and there's one right there. Those are my evening primrose. Yellow flowers, super nice. Big daylily. I got another little daylily starting in here somewhere. I can't tell where I'm pointing to. So bad. And then the lilac and this blue spruce. that should not be planted there. That's pretty much it. Again, sorry for no videos. It's just been really busy. Really busy. And I feel bad because I know some of you like to watch my videos. But when I move out to Wyoming, I won't have a garden and I won't have as much of a plant selection to choose from. So things are going to be more difficult out there. I don't know how many videos I'll get to make out there. Might be mostly like when we go on hikes and stuff, and if I take pictures of plants, it'll be like a slideshow type thing. But other than that, until we aren't getting married until January of 2019, like officially having the ceremony and stuff. We're having it back in Buffalo. Might be moving around that time to some other place. Hopefully Sean will get a superintendent position somewhere, and we'll start that new chapter. But I'll try and keep some sort of video going for you over the summer, but I won't have anything out there really to show. But I'll try. So until next time, stay green, folks.